several of our viewers wanted to know if you could briefly discuss the addition of St. Joseph's name to the canon of the Mass. Was that a good thing?
Well, it's not a good thing, and it's not because we don't love St. Joseph. We do. Okay, I mean, every Catholic soul has a great love for St. Joseph, the foster father and guardian of the Son of God on earth, right? A saint altogether unique on earth and in heaven, for that matter. But the canon was something that was very, very closely guarded. The last known change to the Roman canon was made by Pope St. Gregory the Great. And he added the phrase, "Give peace in our days." And it's in the canon, you can see it. But that was the last change that was made. And the canon was considered sealed by that. Making additions to the canon had been proposed at various times in the Church's history. And popes simply refused to do it. Even adding St. Joseph's name was proposed, and popes simply refused to do it. And I understand that one pope said, "I can't do that, I'm only a pope." And so the pope doesn't have the authority to do that. This is sacred tradition. The pope is not the arbiter in the sense that he censures Catholic tradition, but that was always considered to be such an untouchable thing, like a sacred deposit, something of the greatest value, and had to be guarded at all costs. The canon of the Mass, the integrity of the canon of the Mass. So it really took a lot of nerve, frankly, and it was at the behest of the modernists that they did this. The modernists wanted to do this. The modernists actually basically said two things that were very indicative. They said a lot of things, but they targeted the liturgy. They said, if we can change the rite of Holy Week, especially the Triduum, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday, if we can get changes in that, we can change everything. And they meant this because these were the most sacred rites of the Church, surrounding the most sacred days, right? And they were right. They knew exactly what they were doing. That's why they set the axe to that, the traditional rite of Holy Week, the traditional rites of Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. They began there because they knew if they could succeed there, nothing would stand against them. Everything was now up for grabs. So they brought it in as a restored rite of Holy Week. Restored to what? To their fantasy of what it had been. They butchered the rites of the Triduum, is what they did. Another thing they said, if we can just introduce a change in the canon of the Mass, again, if we can break the canon, we can break the canon, even with just a word, then we've set the precedence that we can change it all. It's either sacred or it's not. It's either inviolable or it's not. And if we violate it by changing it in any way, then we can actually change the whole thing. And that's exactly what they did. And they used poor St. Joseph's name. They used poor St. Joseph as the instrument, the thin edge of the wedge here, because they know Catholics love for St. Joseph. They knew that they had some kind of an emotional opening there. As someone said not long ago, if they had added the name of St. Joseph after the consecration to the list of the other names, instead of to the list of the names beforehand, which has a very sacred connotation, actually, that would still have been wrong to do, a bad thing to do, a dangerous thing to do. But the fact that they chose to add St. Joseph's name there at the beginning, for example, they said if they'd added St. Joseph's name somewhere along with St. John the Baptist, a saint of the Old Testament, that theologically that wouldn't have been so problematic. But inserting the name of St. Joseph, together with the apostles and so on, this was theologically problematic. So their addition of the name of St. Joseph to the canon, this is what they did for the sake of using or abusing Catholic piety to authorize them to do something which for them was just the beginning of their whole destructive plan. Because it was a rotten thing to do, it was a really deceptive thing to do. It hurts to think that they would use the name of St. Joseph to do this. But then, the Pharisees, back in their day, you read in the Gospel how they invoked the same name of St. Joseph to say, who is this Jesus of Nazareth? He's the son of this carpenter, Joseph. So, they certainly weren't moved by piety to say that. Neither were the modernists.